Jeff Rowe from Two Hacks Garage. Well, still at Jimmy's shop. It's just another video, same day. Got a whole bunch of work done. As you see in the previous videos, we've been making a lot of strides lately. We got the steering done. We got the radius rods done. We got all that tied up. We still got to go over and make sure all the welds are complete to make sure we didn't miss anything, because pretty soon this is getting blasted and it's going to get painted. So where are we at now? Well, we're going back to the body panels and the cowl. The reason why we kind of skipped over that is, well, we got that axle in and we wanted to focus our attention on getting that done right and getting it done the right way the first time. Very intricate, very tedious work. We already know what we're going to do with this cowl because Jimmy got a bunch of work done off camera. So it's basically trimming and get the final fitment on here. Once that's complete, guys, everything comes apart. I take it with me, prep it for paint. Fast Eddie's going to paint it, and it's going to get there. It's not sitting on here now. I know it's in the other room. We got it prepped, ready to go. Later on in this video, you're going to see Brian from B&R Racing. He's going to show up, and he's going to help us take care of some stuff also, rear end work, testing valve springs and stuff like that. I know I said that in the last video, but he's coming tomorrow, which is actually today. If that makes sense, I know it doesn't, but it will later on. So yeah, that's where we're at today. We're going to finish up the body panels, and we are going to get everything trimmed so it can come apart, take the dragster apart, mark everything down, get this thing ready for paint, haul it out of here, go get it bead blasted, get the chassis painted, get the body panels painted. And when it comes back, what we're going to do is sit down, Jimmy and I off camera, is we're going to determine what we need to do hardware-wise for aircraft bolts that we need to go into here. Some of these require much stronger shear strength, so I do need to get those so I can get those in place when we finally go make this a final assembly. I know back here with rear end housing, aircraft bolts are required, along with some of the steering and stuff up there. We might already have some. Jimmy has some from a previous project. I know I'm rambling. I know Jimmy's ready to work, but I just wanted to say, once we get this back, our whole goal is to actually make it a roller. So it's going to be out of this room into another room as a roller so we can start doing final assembly on this. It's really come together, guys. But like I said, I'm rambling. Jimmy's ready to work. What I need to do is start taking this car apart so we can start doing this body panel so we can get out of here, get painted. So Jumpin' Jack Flash will look pretty nostalgia. And I tell you what, guys, you're going to love the paint scheme I have designed for this. So with that, see you soon. Time to tear it apart. Later. All right, so what we got going on in that video we just showed, I took the car apart because everything's, at this point, is not going back together until we do final assembly. It's going to get blasted, painted, whatever. Jimmy finished welded the front axle for the radius rods, those pieces. What we got going on now is most of this body panel is actually finished. Off camera, Jimmy went ahead and made this cowl. And what we got to do now is figure out kind of our design for it. Let me kind of move my camera over here just a little bit. So if you take a look, the windscreen. So some of this is going to get trimmed out, but this has got to kind of, you follow this radius, it's kind of curve, and we got to figure out a good design. I went ahead and put center lines in here, center, then 6 inches off center, and just kind of drew out a couple different patterns. And now what we're going to do is come up with a kind of a final pattern so we can get this trimmed, get all this funky stuff back here trimmed off. There's some finishing work in the bottom that needs to happen. But yeah, that's where we're at. And what we're going to try to do also is, if you look on the front here where Jimmy and I put in the heavy duty homemade Zeus fastener tabs, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those that are pretty heavy duty.
They're the spring-loaded pop-up ones.
So what I did was I bought some spring-loaded pop-up ones like this. So what we're going to do is figure out a way how to incorporate these. The reason being is this is going to be nice and pretty and painted, and you know we want to keep that clean up here. And this is just a little bit more solid of a mount for that.
Well, these will scratch the paint, every time it goes in because they're against the paint. This stays riveted to the panel, which is paint under it, and then this won't, every time you take it on and off, it won't damage the paint. These are going to damage the paint, but
that is what it is. Where you're really going to see up on top, it's going to look clean. So that's where we're at. We're just trying to figure out kind of our cowl design. So that's where we're at. The other thing is what you're going to end up seeing is Jimmy and I flip this car over at some point, because what we need to do, and it's panels that don't get painted. In previous videos, we did put some Zeus fastener tabs in here. There's going to be 3 panels underneath the car. We're not going to paint them. We're going to bead roll them so they have a nice smooth transition, but we still got to make those panels for it.
That's why I'm putting a roller skate on when we flip it upside down. We can still push it around the shop.
Yeah, it's for my roller skate. It'll look nice. I'll write a message on there. It'll just say something.
Side up.
This side up, just let me cross the finish line. One way or another, guys, I'm crossing the finish line in this car. Whether it's with chariots.
On the bottom of the floorboard, you put, on the bottom side of the floorboard, you put wrong side up.
Yeah, wrong side up. But if I cross finish line any which way or other, I'll be happy. With that, we need to get back to work. We're going to get this thing all tied up. See you in a few. All right, well, check this out. Our fabrication, for the most part, is done. Let me get a better look at this.
Next thing we're fabricating is all the stories on how fast this thing went.
Yeah.
Even before we get to the racetrack.
Really digging it. It's a lot of work. Our shifter's in place. Barely clears. But yeah, guys, many hours losing our mind. But you know what? It paid off. Starting to look like a drag car again. I'm going to come around here, get another look, show you what's going on.
I'm getting it used to me beating on it.
Yeah.
Gotta run it like a whipped pup.
So yeah.
Like my first 2 wives.
There it is, guys. The body panel fabrication. It's pretty much done. We got to do a couple other odds and ends with it. Jimmy and I still got to flip it upside down and do the bottom panels. Yeah. So yeah. By the way, I did lose my mind. It's an inside joke. I think everybody knows it. The driver is Abe Froman. Jimmy, as his name on his dragster, I can't have just my name on there because it'd be, more than one driver. So Abe Froman is the official driver of Jumping Jack Flash. If you know, you know.
Just put a big question mark on it.
Yeah. Abe Froman. Seen a few. All right, so here's where we're at. The chassis is completely taken apart. All the body panels are off. Like I said in other videos before, and Jimmy has reiterated this to me many times, it goes together, comes apart. Goes together, comes apart. Repeat about 50,000 times. But we're at a place now where once it's apart for now, well, things are going to get painted, and it's going to be assembly time, and hopefully we didn't miss anything. We got a little bit of chassis work left to do. We still got to weld the bottom of the radius rod tabs, and Jimmy and I are looking at other things, like we got to weld in the rest of the Zeus fastener tab for the body panels that we added. We do need to make our solid bushing for the seatbelt restraint and do the same thing on the bottom. What I'm going to go do while Jimmy's working on a little stuff, I'm going to go get all those body panels lined up. I'll show you what we got going on. It's a lot of work. So all the body panels are done. We got the seat, we got the seat bucket, all the panels and the cowl, all that fun stuff. So what I'm going to do, and my template. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these to my friend Fast Eddie. See him a lot up at Kyle's Hack Shack. He's got that awesome 72 Chevelle. And he's going to get these all painted up, ready to go. And a friend of mine is going to make the actual seat pad and seat material that's going to go over the cover. So yeah, with that, I'm rambling. Jimmy's working. It is a super early morning. Couldn't sleep. Want to get this done. See you soon. All right, so what we got going on here is Jimmy and I are going over everything, every little spot. We knew there were some welds that we did still need to do because of stuff we need to that we added. So yeah, this is just we're literally going over the chassis completely, making sure we got everything. Believe it or not, it's like breakfast time. We've been here for hours. Just a couple small incidents we need to take care of because after we're done with this, body panels are done. I already got them loaded on my car. I've been over there sandblasting some parts that need to get painted and all that. Basically, what we got going on is we're going through everything, looking everything over. Still need to drill a hole, put in a bushing, get all that done. Jimmy's just going over and making sure he's welding some stuff because once it's done here, we're going to be moving this thing at some point because I'm going to pick it up. It's going to get blasted so we can throw down some paint. With that, Jimmy's going to get to work, and I'm going to go do some more blasting. See you in a few. Well, we're going to call that a wrap. Like you saw in the title, the body and chassis is done. Almost. The chassis is done. And if you saw in that last video, Jimmy, Brian, and I, we got it flipped over. Well, tell you what, guys, the chassis turned out great. We went over every single weld, made sure everything was taken care of. Why isn't it done? Well, you saw the body panels were done. However, if you watched previous videos and you look here, we have Zeus fasteners on the bottom of this. We actually have to make body panels that go on the bottom of this. And the reason being is you need a protective cover on the bottom. Plus back here, you don't want wind flying up. So we got to make those. Those don't get painted. That's almost, if you want to call it, almost like a crash type thing or a skid plate, but not really. I'm just calling it that. But we got to make those three, and we're going to do those in the next video. But yeah, this was very successful. We have been working a lot of hours lately, guys. I'm tired. I'm extremely wore out mentally and physically. Still making a lot of phone calls on getting this certified, how we're going to get licensed, looking at more safety equipment, looking at what parts we need, looking at parts what we have and all that. I mean, it's just phone calls, emails, on and on and on. A lot goes into this. So with that, that's where I'm going to leave it, because in the next one is when this is all done, and it won't be almost, it'll all be done. With that, guys, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next one. Later.